Welcome back to Globalheadwinds.com, the voice that tries to look between the headlines. Today we are diving deep into one of the most complex and potentially explosive conflicts of our time, the standoff between China and Taiwan. This isn't just a territorial dispute anymore. It has evolved into a geopolitical chessboard with economic, ideological, and military pieces moving across multiple dimensions. The crux of the problem, the Chinese Communist Party wants a pro-China government in Taiwan or else annex it completely, as it feels that Taiwan is historically a part of China. Across the strait, inside Taiwan, it is not so black and white either. The population is politically fragmented and not everyone may be pushing for an independent Taiwan. Taiwan's internal politics revolve around two main parties, the KMT and the DPP. Historically, due to the communist onslaught, the KMT fled mainland China in 1949 and settled in Taiwan and ruled the state with an iron fist until the late 80s. While they used to advocate for reunification, today they support something closer to one country, two systems, a model China prefers. The DPP, on the other hand, leans more towards the full independence. Founded in 1986, they have been pushing Taiwanese nationalism and declared Taiwan as a separate from China in 2007. Under the current crop of DPP leaders, the party has been dominant, but their support is slipping. Whereas in 2016, the party had a support base of 56%, in the 2024 elections, they only secured 40% of the vote. And that's a key point. Western media often paints Taiwan as uniformly pro-independent, but the numbers tell a different story, which creates a dilemma. If the West, especially the US, intervenes in a China-Taiwan conflict, does that intervention reflect the will of the Taiwanese? Now let's talk about the economic side. Taiwan is a technological powerhouse, especially in semiconductors. TSMC, the Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing Company, contributes to 25% of Taiwan's GDP. And get this, Taiwan has invested over $200 billion into China. So, if China makes a military move, it risks not just political fallout, but economic self-harm also, which makes the stakes even higher. China is already under Western tech sanctions, and it still relies heavily on Taiwanese chips. That makes Taiwan a strategic target, but also a risky one. The entire global tech supply chain could feel the shock if things go south. Zooming out, the broader regional picture adds more tension. China's asserting dominance in the Indo-Pacific, especially via the controversial 9-line in the South China Sea, is clashing not just with Taiwan, but also with Philippines, Vietnam, Malaysia, and Brunei. The other countries fear if China succeeds in annexing Taiwan, it could legitimize China's larger territorial ambitions. And that's a red flag for US and its allies. President Xi, meanwhile, reportedly wants the PLA, the China's military, to be ready to seize Taiwan by 2030. Now, if the conflict does break out, it's not going to be a cakewalk for China. Yes, they are the third strongest military in the world, but Taiwan isn't isolated. The US Navy is active in the region, and any full-scale invasion across the 180-kilometer Taiwan Strait risks direct confrontation. Global Headwinds points to three likely strategies the PLA might use. First, it may launch preemptive missile and drone strikes on Taiwan's air bases and radar systems. China could overwhelm Taiwan's defense numerically, but the US interception support, like we have seen with Israel and Iran, could be critical. The PLA may also attempt amphibious landings, avoiding direct contact with US forces. This minimizes international fallout, but risks a failure if Taiwanese forces sink those vessels en route. And third, cyber and satellite attacks to disrupt the communication. But here China may face stiff resistance. Taiwan and its allies have formidable cyber capabilities. In short, even with its size, China would face serious challenges. A war could damage Taiwan's infrastructure, especially TSMC, making the cost far outweigh the benefits. So where does this leave us? The conflict is multi-layered. Ideological rifts, economic entanglements, military risks, and international alliances all intersect. And public opinion in Taiwan isn't monolithic either. The people's voice is split, and that complicates external support and intervention. There is another issue, the unpredictable nature of the current US administration. What if the POTUS decides to go for a deal with China, tossing Taiwan under the bus? Well, in the realm of geopolitics, we have learned to expect the unexpected. That's it for this episode of Globalheadwinds.com. If you found this insightful, please do subscribe, leave a review, and share it with someone who follows geopolitics. And until next week, stay informed and stay curious.